All right, here comes the meat of this lesson. We are going to fill in the unit circle. So let's start super easy. Again, this is called the unit circle. Okay, now keyword in there is a unit, which means every radius is 1, meaning 1 unit. Okay, so I'm going to start here at 0 degrees. And what I'm asking is, what is the coordinate point of this guy right there? Well, if you think about it, I've traveled on the x. This is a radius, so I've traveled 1 unit. I have not gone up, so my y is 0. All right, I'm going to move to our next easy point up here at 90 degrees. Well, this time I haven't gone anywhere from my origin in regards to the x, and I have gone straight up on my y. And again, this is a radius, so I've gone a distance of 1. So my coordinate point up here is 0, 1. All right, let's move over to 180 degrees, or pi. Again, starting at my origin, I have traveled to the left, so in the negative direction, 1, because of our unit circle, and nowhere up on our y. So my coordinate point here is -1, 0. All right, and last but not least of my easy ones is 270 degrees. Starting again at my origin, I have moved nowhere on the x, but I've moved straight down on my y. It's a distance of 1 being the unit circle, so I'm at 0, -1. So those are my 4 easy major coordinate points. Let's move on and let's talk about our 45-degree angles. All right, our 45-degree angles are these guys that are represented, that I'm drawing in green for you. All right, so let's go ahead. Those are our 45s. Now, thinking about a 45, 45, 90 triangle. All right, so let's go ahead and draw this in. All right, so there's our 45, 45, 90 triangle. Now, what's nice about our 45, 45, 90 triangle is that the 2 leg sides are going to be the same. So I'm going to put a little dash right here. And we know that this is the unit circle. So with this being the unit circle, that means this has a measure of 1. Now, knowing that that's 1 and using our 13.1 section when we talked about our special right triangles, we need to figure out the lengths of this guy, which is our x value, and the length of this guy, which is our y value, so we can talk about what this coordinate point is up here. Well, using that rule, in order to get from the hypotenuse to a leg, what we have to do is divide by the square root of 2. Well, if I take 1 and I divide it by the square root of 2, we know we don't leave our answer in radical form like that, so we're going to have to rationalize. So we're going to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 2 over 2. So our answer is the square root of 2 over 2. And again, what's nice about the 45, 45 is our legs are the same size. So this coordinate point up here is going to be labeled with a distance of the square root of 2 over 2 and the square root of 2 over 2. And the same thing is going to hold true on all of our other points for our 45, 45, 90 triangles. The only difference is when I move over into quadrant 2, I have gone in the negative direction for my x, so it's going to be negative square root of 2 over 2, but I've gone positive in the y, square root of 2 over 2. And then down here in quadrant 3, I've gone negative, and I've gone negative, so labeling this coordinate point, -2, square root of 2 over 2, and negative square root of 2 over 2. And last but not least, quadrant 4, we are positive on the x, we are negative on the y, so we're at the square root of 2 over 2, and negative square root of 2 over 2. So those are all of our 45-degree angles. All right, last but not least, let's talk about our 30 degrees. So I'm going to draw our 30 degrees on here. There's 30, there's 60, there's 120, there's 150, there's 210, 240, 300, and 330. So we need to find the coordinate points of all of those points. All right, so I'm going to start here at our 30 degree. So if we think about this triangle right in here, we have a 30 degree angle, we have a 60 degree angle, and we have our 90. And again, we're on the unit circle, so that guy right there is 1. All right, well, how do I get down from my hypotenuse to my short side? Well, I need to divide by 2. So if I divide 1 by 2, that's going to give me a half. Okay, so there's our short side length right there. All right, how do I get from my short side to my long side? Well, I need to multiply by the square root of 3. Well, if my answer was a half, and I'm multiplying it by the square root of 3, my next answer is going to just be the square root of 3 over 2. So my distance here on the x is the square root of 3 over 2, and my distance here on the y is a half. So let's go ahead and go around the unit circle and start labeling stuff. So again, my x value was the square root of 3 over 2. My y value was the half, the height. I'm going to take that 30 degree angle right here. I'm going to reflect it over, so I'm at 150. The only thing that's changed is I've gone negative on my x, but I'm still positive on my y. So I'm taking those same coordinates, negative square root of 3 over 2 and positive a half. I'm going to take that 30 degree angle and go down here in quadrant 3. We have, again, negative direction on the x, negative direction on the y. So I'm going to be at negative square root of 3 over 2 and negative a half. All right, last of the 30 degrees would be here at 330 degrees. So back to my original coordinate point that I was looking at, I'm going positive on the x, but negative on the y. So square root of 3 over 2 and a half. And at this point you're saying, Miss Service, but what about the 60 degree angle? Well, what's really nice about that is the 60 degree angle up here, if you're thinking about it, is still a 30, 60, 90 triangle. It's just turned. So if we look at it, we're still going to have those same values, but they're just going to have flip-flopped for the sides. So as I go around the circle, I'm going to still use this coordinate point, but they're going to be flip-flopped. So I'm going to have gone a half on the x and square root of 3 over 2 on the y. So I'm going to label this guy. And then I'm going to go around the unit circle labeling the other 3 that I'm missing, just being careful with my negative sign as I go into each quadrant. So this guy, I want negative on the x, but positive on the y, so I'm at negative a half and positive square root of 3 over 2. This guy down here, I went negative on the x, negative on the y, so I am at negative a half and negative square root of 3 over 2. Last but not least over here, positive on the x, negative on the y, so I am at a half and negative square root of 3 over 2. There's your unit circle talking about your 30 and your 60. Previous slide we did the 45, and the first slide we talked about those major points being at 0, 90, 180, and 270. So if you put all of that goodness together, there's your unit circle completely filled out. It's got your degrees on there. It's got your radians, and then it's got your x values and your y values going all the way around your unit circle.